You're asking them to walk out in the open road. You're leaving the children vulnerable to bird attacks. Hey everyone, Henriello here. Welcome back. Today we are going to watch The Birds, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. Now the movie is based on the 1952 short story of the same name by Daphne du Maurier. Now here's a fun little thing you can check out. If you go on Google and you type The Birds, when the movie pops up, you can see a flock of bird emojis just flying on the screen. So there's an unlimited amount of birds flying in there. You can go on Google and search it, see if you have the bird emojis on your screen. Another interesting thing about this movie is that Alfred Hitchcock actually had an inspiration from a real life event, but we'll talk about that after the reaction. This movie is supposed to be a natural horror thriller film, but I feel like I won't really be scared about this one because birds are cute, you know. I mean, small birds anyway. If you're talking about huge birds like pelicans or like some birds on steroids, okay, that's a different story. But you know, small birds, all these cute little birds, I don't find them scary at all. So I don't think I'm gonna be that scared for this movie. Tense maybe, worried for the characters maybe, but nah, I don't find birds that scary. If you enjoy my videos, like and subscribe. If you want to vote for the movies that I watch next, you want to vote on my movie poll, you can go check out my Patreon. My full reactions are also on Patreon. Your support means the world to me, whether it's on YouTube or Patreon. So thank you. It allows me to continue doing movie reactions, and at the same time, I do plan to do TV series, TV episodes reactions too, but those I will put on Patreon. So stay tuned. Now let's watch The Birds. It almost sounds like machine gun fire. Sounds like a battle between soldiers and birds. Ooh. Yeah, that's a lot of them. Aww, cute kitty.
He hasn't arrived yet.
Oh, but you said 3 o'clock.
Oh, I know. This will be a full-grown minor bird. Full-grown.
And
Mina.
maybe you'd better deliver him. Let me give you my address.
Would you mind if I call?
No. All right.
I wonder if you could help me.
She's not.
Guess what is it you're looking for, sir?
Lovebirds. These are for my sister for her birthday, you see, and she's only going to be 11. Aren't those lovebirds?
No, those are redbirds.
Oh, I thought they were strawberry
Redbirds.
pigeons.
Oh, yes, we call them that, too.
How she plays it off so cool.
Is there an ornithological reason for keeping them in separate cages?
It's to protect the species.
That's important, especially during the molting season.
Molting, sure, birds molt.
Some of them are.
How can you tell?
Clearly he's pulling her leg.
Get a sort of hangdog expression.
What does that even mean?
Are you sure you wouldn't like to see a canary instead?
All right, may I see it, please?
Well, you can just take the birds out like that? You can hurt the bird.
Oh.
Oh my. Thought she crushed it. It's so cute.
Back in your gilded cage, Melanie Daniels.
How did you know my name?
A little birdie told me. I saw you in court. Don't you remember one of your practical jokes that resulted in the smashing of a plate glass window?
I didn't break that window. You knew I didn't work here. You deliberately...
Right, I recognized you when I came in. I just thought you might like to know what it's like to be on the other end of a gag. What do you think of that?
I think you're a louse.
What about the lovebirds?
Oh, I'll find something else.
He didn't even continue inquiring about the lovebirds.
Hello, Charlie. Melanie. I want you to do a favor for me. Find out who owns this license plate. WJH003. Is Daddy in his office? Tell him I'll see him later.
Okay, so it's her father's connections.
Do you have any lovebirds?
When would you want them?
Immediately.
Immediately. I've wanted it since yesterday. Seems like she plans to give him the lovebirds. Isn't that so kind of her? She even knows where he's staying.
He won't be back until Monday. I mean, if those birds are for him.
Where did he go?
Bodega Bay. He goes there every weekend. I'd look after them myself, but I'm going away too. I'm awfully sorry.
Oh, that's very kind of the man to inform her. Some people wouldn't even care. They just let the birds be there in the hall. Are the birds real? I don't think they're real.
I'm looking for a man named Mitchell Brenner. Where does he live?
Right here, Bodega Bay.
Where?
Right across the bay there.
Where?
Now, See where I'm pointing?
Yes.
That's where the Brenners live.
Mr.
Nice.
and Mrs. Brenner?
No, just Lydia and the 2 kids.
Oh, I see.
For a moment, she thought he was married.
Is there a back road I can take?
That's the only road.
I want to surprise them.
Oh,
I don't want them to see me arrive.
oh.
It's a surprise, you see.
You could get yourself a boat and cut right across the bay to their dock.
Where would I get a boat?
Whoa, she's really gonna take that effort.
You ever handle an outboard boat?
Oh, of course.
Oh,
Want me to
nice.
order one for you?
Well, thank you.
Wow, that's very kind of him. The shopkeeper is very helpful.
The little girl's name.
Harry, what's the little Brenner girl's name?
Lois?
Alice, ain't it?
No, it's Lois.
Lois.
It's Alice.
Is it Alice or Lois?
House with the red mailbox. That's where Annie Hayworth, the school teacher, lives. You ask her about the little Brenner girl. Name's Alice for sure.
She's really going to go find a school teacher to ask the little girl's name. Clearly, she wants to chase after the guy. No one else will put in so much effort.
Who is it?
Me?
Who's me?
It's me. You don't know me?
Tell me the name of the little Brenner girl.
Kathy? Kathy Brenner.
You seemed sure it was either Alice or Lois.
Which is why the mail never gets delivered to the right place in this town.
Oh. So it's Kathy. It's not Alice or Lois.
Are you a friend of Mitch's?
No, not really.
Are you planning on staying long?
Are you gonna rent her the room? You can see there's a room for rent.
You drive up from San Francisco by the Coast Road?
Yes.
I guess that's where everyone meets Mitch.
Now, you sound a bit mysterious, Miss Hayworth.
Does she like Mitch too?
Pretty. What are they?
Lovebirds.
Good luck, Miss Daniels.
Thank you.
It's that obvious, isn't it? Her clothes match her mailbox. Everybody's just staring at her whenever she walks by. They all know she's not from town. Small little boat. Although I've never actually driven a boat like that, I don't think it's that hard. You just steer it left and right, right? Oh, be careful. She's happy to see Mitch. Oh, she just sneaked into his house. Oh, now it's for Kathy, not for Mitch. Huh, that's strange. What's she planning to do? Watch where you're going. If she falls into the ocean, that'll be pretty funny. Of course he sees the boat. Well, well. She pulled it off, and Mitch seems pretty impressed and happy to see her. Oh, he's gonna drive all the way across the bay. He's even faster than she is. What?
That's the damnedest thing I ever saw. I don't know. It seemed to swoop down at you deliberately.
I've seen crows do that. I mean, seagulls, I've seen them do that to get food. But crows, I've seen them do that in real life. Like a motorcyclist in front of my car, the crow just swoops down and tries to like grab his helmet. And I was thinking, well, that guy must have a grudge. Or the crow must have a grudge with the guy.
Might need a tetanus shot.
I had a booster before I went abroad last May.
What happened?
Oh, dear. Young lady cut herself.
Get some cotton and antiseptic. I had a man trip and fall in the parking lot once. Sued me before I could bat an eyelash.
I don't think Miss Daniels is going to sue anybody.
Here.
You're the lawyer. Thanks.
So he's a lawyer.
So you're a lawyer.
That's right.
What kind of law?
Criminal.
Is that why you want to see everyone behind bars?
Oh, not everyone, Miss Daniels.
They violators and practical jokers.
That's right.
Ow.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you mean you came all this way to bring me those birds?
She did.
She said it was her birthday.
Oh yeah, I've forgotten. He was planning to buy the lovebirds for his little sister. That's why she wrote to Kathy. Kathy.
How do you know Annie?
We went to school together.
So you came up to see Annie, huh?
Yes.
I think he came up to see me. Must have gone to a lot of trouble to find out who I was and where I lived.
No, it was no trouble at all. I simply called my father's newspaper.
You really liked me, huh?
I loathe you. I wrote you a letter about it, in fact, but I tore it up.
Yep, she likes you.
Mother, I'd like you to meet Melanie Daniels. Miss Daniels, my mother.
How do you do?
Miss Daniels brought us some birds from San Francisco. I've already invited her for dinner tonight.
Ah, he moves fast.
And you haven't met Kathy, and you are staying in the weekend.
His mother doesn't seem too keen.
I'll pick you up. Where are you staying?
With Annie, of course.
Oh, of course. How stupid of me.
Annie may have made other plans. I'll have to see.
7 o'clock, then.
Maybe. That sign there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you suppose I could have the room for just a single night? I've tried everywhere in town. They're all full.
Really? She's pretty good at white lies.
Don't they ever stop migrating?
Hi,
This must be Kathy.
Miss Daniels.
Yes?
Oh, they're beautiful.
They are.
Been out back looking at the chickens. Something seems to be wrong with them. The chickens won't eat.
Fred, that feed you sold me is no good. It's just no good. The chickens won't eat it. Down Fawcett.
Everyone's chickens won't eat.
You don't think there's something going around, do you?
Clearly something's happening with all the birds, including
I
chickens.
called from down Fawcett a while ago. His chickens won't eat either. He sold Mr. Fawcett a different brand. You don't think they're getting sick, do you, Mitch?
Yeah, I mean, sick birds or sick chickens won't want to eat either.
He spends half his day in the detention cells at the Hall of Justice. He has a client now who shot his wife in the head 6 times. 6 times! Can you imagine it? Even twice would be overdoing it, don't you think?
Once would be overdoing it.
He was watching a ball game on television. His wife changed the channel.
And you're defending him?
Coming to my party tomorrow?
I don't think so. I have to get back to San Francisco.
She can play the piano so nicely while talking and holding an actual conversation. That's amazing.
She's a charming girl, isn't she, Mitch?
Yes.
She's very rich, isn't she?
Yeah, I suppose so. The father's part owner of one of the big newspapers in San Francisco.
She is the one who jumped into a fountain in Rome last summer, isn't she?
Ah, Melanie is notorious for her practical jokes.
The newspaper said she was naked.
Yes, I know, dear.
When you bring a girl like that,
Darling, I can handle Melanie Daniels by myself.
He calls his mother dear and darling.
Will I be seeing you again?
San Francisco's a long way from here.
Maybe we could go swimming or something. Mother tells me you like to swim.
In a fountain, naked.
I was pushed into that fountain with all my clothes on. The newspaper that ran that story happens to be a rival of my father's paper.
You're just a poor, innocent victim of circumstances.
I'm neither poor nor innocent, but the truth of that
The
particular...
truth is you're running around with a pretty wild crowd, isn't it? What about the letter you wrote me? Is that a lie, too?
I wrote the letter. It said, Dear Mr. Brenner, I think you need these lovebirds after all. They may help your personality. That's what it said.
But you tore it up. What do you want?
I want to go through life jumping into fountains naked. Good night.
Woo. That's a lot of them. That's the worst thing you can see when you park a car.
Well, how did your evening go? Did you meet Lydia?
Where are you from originally, Annie?
San Francisco.
How did you happen to come up here?
Mitch?
I see no reason for being coy about this. It was Mitch Brenner. I guess you knew that anyway.
When was this?
4 years ago. Shortly after his father died.
4 years ago.
Her attitude nearly drove me crazy. I spent days trying to figure out exactly what I'd done to displease her.
What had you done?
I simply existed. So what's the answer? Clinging, possessive mother?
Maybe.
Now that I'm no longer a threat, we're very good friends.
Why did she object to you?
Afraid of any woman who would give Mitch the one thing Lydia can give him. Love.
That adds up to a jealous, possessive woman.
Yeah.
She's only afraid of being abandoned. He'd just been through a lot with Lydia after his father died. He didn't want to risk going through it all again. We both knew it was over.
Then what are you doing here in Bodega Bay?
I wanted to be near Mitch, and I don't want to lose that friendship. Ever.
She still has feelings for Mitch.
Well, it's very kind of you. No, I'm not angry. No, I wouldn't want to disappoint Kathy, but... All right, yes, I'll be there. He wants me to go to Kathy's party tomorrow afternoon. Do you think I should go?
Do you want to go?
Yes.
Then go.
Thank you, Annie.
Oh,
Probably a bird.
poor thing. Probably lost his way in the dark.
It's such a huge coincidence that Annie Hayworth, the person teaching Kathy and also who the post office man suggested for Melanie to visit, also had a relationship with Mitchell 4 years ago. What do you know?
Seriously, why do you have to rush off?
I have to get to work tomorrow morning, for one thing.
You have a job?
Mondays and Wednesdays, I work for the Traveler's Aid at the airport.
Helping travelers.
No, misdirecting them. I thought you could read my character.
Sarcastic.
What about Fridays?
I sometimes go to bird shops on Fridays.
I'm very glad you do.
I have an Aunt Tessa. I'm giving her a minor bird when she comes back from Europe.
The minor bird is for her aunt.
My mother ditched us when I was 11 and ran off with some hotel man in the East.
Don't you ever see her?
I don't know where she is.
The seagulls are attacking. Maybe they just want the food. Ooh. These aren't real birds, right? No, wait, they might be. Maybe they're mechanical birds? The birds have begun their attack. The invasion has begun.
Stand up something to eat before you start back, huh? I feel a lot better.
What if it's like something like rabbit disease? Like rabbit dogs, and then birds become rabbit too, and they start simply attacking people.
You ought to stay the night, Melanie. We have an extra room upstairs and everything.
Well, if I go across to Santa Rosa, I'll come out on the freeway much earlier, won't I?
Yes, and the freeway is much quicker.
Lydia's trying to drive her away.
Mitch?
Through the chimney! Wow, those birds are creative.
Show me your faces! Show me your eyes!
I think the first step would be to block the chimney place first. Clearly, it's a screen effect. How would you stop them? You probably have to kill every single one of them. Because if all they want to do is attack people, then even if you open the doors or windows, it doesn't help.
It's a sparrow, all right. Do you have a light burning or something? Sometimes birds are attracted by light, you know.
All right, but we've got to do something about it.
What do? Arrest the birds? Put them in cuffs? Send them to jail?
More likely, they got in the room and was just panicked.
They came in right down the chimney.
Birds just don't go around attacking people without no reason. You know what I mean?
Normally, yeah.
I think I should stay, don't you?
It would be nice if you could.
Good night, Lydia. Sure is peculiar.
Even now, Lydia still doesn't want Melanie to stay. If this has happened here, then bird attacks should have happened elsewhere too. In other houses, even if it's not other towns.
I'd probably drive over to the Fawcett Farm.
I suspect it's like a rabbit disease that affects birds. Just like rabbit dogs.
I ain't seen him this morning, but he ought to be in there.
In there? Like in the chicken coop? I mean, if the birds are going crazy and then Mr. Fawcett goes in a chicken coop with hundreds or thousands of crazy chickens, then maybe Mr. Fawcett is dead. But think about it though, could small birds or chickens really kill you? It's a good question. Oh, that seagull. Gouged his eyes out. Ooh. She's gonna puke. Oh, at least tell the guy what's going on, and you left your purse. Wow, she's driving fast now.
What is it, dear? What's the matter? The deputy just called. He wants me over at the Fawcett place.
Be careful, please.
Oh, they've already gotten so close over the course of 2 days.
Do you think Kathy's all right at the school?
Yes, I'm sure she's fine.
They have such big windows at school. All the windows are broken in Dan's bedroom. All the windows. I wish I were a stronger person. It's terrible how you depend on someone else for strength, and then suddenly all the strength is gone and you're alone. Do you think Kathy's all right?
Annie's there.
You see, he understood the children. He really understood them. Oh, I wish I could be like that.
You could try.
Even now, I wake up in the morning and I think, I must get Frank's breakfast.
She still can't get over her grief, huh? I guess you can't forget.
My son seems to be very fond of you. I don't even know if I like you or not.
So to her, the men in her life are her pillars of support.
I want to like whatever girl he chooses.
At least she's making the effort.
I don't think I can bear to be left alone. Oh, forgive me.
That's understandable. At least she's aware.
I wish I was stronger. Do you think she's all right?
And she'll be alright.
Would you like me to go for her?
I feel so much better.
I'll go right now.
Really? You want to be left alone when the birds could attack at any time? Lydia seems quite dependent, so I'm surprised she would let Melanie go and she's left alone, all alone at home when birds are attacking. Melanie, I wouldn't recommend you stand outside where you're vulnerable to birds. Could you at least stay in the school or stay in the car? See what I mean? Imagine the scene switches back and we see thousands of crows standing there already.
5 minutes later.
That's a very long song. Yo, the song is non-stop. Oh, there we go, thousands. What did I tell you? I can tell that most of them are fake though, they aren't moving at all.
We are not going into the playground until everybody is quieted down.
Playground's occupied.
Close that door quickly.
What?
Please. We've got to get the children out of here.
Out? No. More like deeper inside the building, somewhere with no windows.
Miss Daniels would like to see how we conduct ourselves during a fire drill. We're going out of school, madam.
Out?
Those of you who live nearby to go directly home.
Really, none of the children sees the thousands of birds standing outside. You're asking them to walk out in the open road, you're leaving the children vulnerable to bird attacks. You see, if you had just stayed in a school, in a room with no windows, then this wouldn't have happened, you know? Now you're prime targets for a bird swooping down to attack. Very clear green screen. This person didn't lock their car, but that's a good thing for them. The kid bleeding is because she fell on her face, not because of the birds, I think.
Daddy, there were hundreds of them. Just now, not 15 minutes ago. No, the birds didn't attack until the children were outside the school.
The crow is Corvus brachyrhynchos, and the blackbird is Euphagus cyanocephalus.
She knows her stuff.
I hardly think that either species would have sufficient intelligence to launch a massed attack.
I thought crows are pretty smart. Crows and ravens. And magpies.
Birds are not aggressive creatures, miss. They bring beauty into the world. It is mankind...
Sam, 3 Southern fried chicken.
There was an attack on the school.
Impossible.
It's the end of the world. Even I shall bring a sword upon you, and I will devastate your high places.
I hardly think a few birds are going to bring about the end of the world.
I believe that too.
Could you ask them to lower their voices, please? They're frightening the children.
A flock of gulls nearly capsized one of my boats.
Well, there'll be birds that'll frighten your children.
The gulls were after your fish, Mr. Scholes. Really, let's be logical about this.
What were the crows after at the school?
Chaos. Mayhem.
I think they were after the children, to kill them.
Why?
I don't think it'll be that easy for small birds to kill people.
Who said anything about a war? All I said, some
Want
gulls.
some more coffee?
No. Came down on one of my boats.
They love to interrupt dialogues to make it seem more natural.
Get yourselves guns and wipe them off the face of the earth.
That would hardly be possible. 5,750,000,000 birds live in the United States alone.
More than half the population of Earth. Human population, I mean. Wait, over 100 billion? More than humans, for sure.
Gulls, crows, swifts...
I have never known birds of different species to flock together. If that happened, we wouldn't have a chance.
Maybe they're all united. They have created an alliance and united themselves.
I'm glad you all think this is so amusing.
Frighten the children half out of their wits.
Why don't you all go home? Lock your doors and windows. What's the fastest way to San Francisco?
Lady, you can follow me.
I just got back from Dan Foss's place.
He was killed last night by birds.
What?
They think a burglar broke in and killed him.
How do you explain the dead birds all over the floor?
Figure they got in after the old man was killed.
Sure.
Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap, yet your heavenly Father feeds them.
A large flock of seagulls got lost in the fog and headed into the town where all the lights were.
Smashing into buildings and everything.
They were all gone next morning, just as though nothing at all had happened.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was an accident by the gulls. The gulls weren't targeting anyone.
Bird attack, call it what you like. They're massing out there someplace and they'll be back. You can count on it.
Even if this is true, even if all
don't you believe it's true?
No, Miss Frankly, I don't.
It's not big enough yet. It hasn't become a huge catastrophe yet. It has to be really, really huge, affecting lots of people before people believe you.
Look!
That guy's big dramatic. Like 2 seagulls flew in front of him and he just falls down and faints. I've seen people get food snatched out of their hands and they'd be like, damn, seagull snatched my food. They don't get knocked out. Sure, no one cares for this oil spill.
Watch out!
It's kind of foolish of him not to smell the fuel. Get in the houses, people. Buddy, get in the building. I thought Melanie ran in a telephone booth because she wanted to call her father or something, but no, she just ran in there for whatever reason. I don't even know why she ran out of this pub. See, the rest of them did the right thing by staying in here. They are smart.
Why are they doing this?
Ask them.
When you got here, the whole thing started.
Oh, this again.
What are you?
Now they're blaming her.
Where did you come from? I think you're evil! Evil!
She's just finding someone to blame. Yeah, she deserved that slap.
I think they're going.
The crows again.
This is the crow's playground now. It's crow territory. Oh, poor Kathy. She saw Annie die. You guys better stay in the house or get home quickly.
Mitch, don't!
No, not now, not now. Poor Annie. She probably fell as she was on the stairs and then hit the back of her head on the pavement.
We heard the explosion and went outside to see what it was. They covered her. Annie, she pushed me inside.
Annie managed to save Kathy.
Seems like a pattern, doesn't it? Strike, then disappear, and then start massing again.
Huh. Most people hammer the wood from the inside, like when you watch zombie apocalypse movies, they hammer it from the inside. At least they still have a chance to hammer the wood from the outside. Though it will be much harder to remove them if they're trapped in a house.
In Bodega Bay early this morning, a large flock of crows attacked a group of children who were leaving the school during a fire drill. We understand there was another attack on the town, but this information is rather sketchy.
Was that all?
It has only happened in Bodega Bay and nowhere else.
Did you get the windows in the attic, Mitch?
Yes, I got them all here.
Why not cover the chimney too?
Maybe we ought to leave.
No, not now. Not all that massing out there.
Yeah, not now.
You don't know! You don't know! When will you know? If only your father was here! I'm sorry, Mitch.
That's the thing though, if you panic and run, you make yourself more vulnerable to bird attacks.
Where are they heading?
Somewhere inland.
Santa Rosa?
Maybe.
But of course, if you're sure it doesn't happen elsewhere, then it does make sense to run. You just gotta do it really fast.
Can I bring the lovebirds in here?
No!
But Mom, they're in a cage.
Let's leave them in the kitchen, huh, honey?
I mean, on this one I agree with Lydia. The lovebirds don't seem agitated though. They seem pretty alright. Come on, birds have hollow bones. Oh, they're so cute. I mean, just a smack could break most of the bones in their body. So a few of them really aren't that dangerous.
Why are they trying to kill people?
I wish I could say.
Well, since there's nothing to do, how about we just go to bed early? Oh, Kathy looks pale. The finches, the gulls, the crows, the canaries. How'd the birds get in here? Wow! Well, how powerful does the bird have to be to peck through a thick, solid wood door? Wow, those look pretty real. I thought she nailed wood onto all of them. How did that door open? Yeah, just sit down. Like, moving around the room doesn't help at all. Whoa, those birds are on steroids, bruh. They're not woodpeckers, so how do they...
They're going.
I'm surprised none of them came through the chimney place.
Mitch?
Look, if the pattern is they attack, then they leave, and then they amass again and they attack, then the best time to escape is right after an attack. Ah, birds got in the attic. Oh, I've got a good suggestion. How about you just don't open the door? Oh, they tore a hole in the roof. Okay, you see, now you're just putting yourself in a dangerous situation. You could have just not opened the door. I'm surprised she's not screaming. I mean, wouldn't she like scream? I'm sorry, it's so hard for me to take this seriously right now because she can just open the door and get out.
Listen, get some water, bandages, and antiseptic, quickly.
It's all right. It's all right. No.
Well, she's traumatized.
We've got to get her to a hospital.
We'd never make it.
We have to try.
Terribly frightened.
I mean, physically, I don't think she's as hurt as she's mentally traumatized. Oh, wow. Birds all over the floor. I think some birds eat each other too, right? Like crows eating other birds. So I wonder if they just eat themselves. I think those are real. How did they get them to just linger around this video shot right here? Like, how did they get them to stand there so still without flying away? It must have taken a lot of effort to get the needed shots of the birds in it.
The bird attacks have subsided for the time being. Bodega Bay seems to be the center. Bodega Bay has been cordoned off by roadblocks. There's been some discussion as to whether the military should go in. It appears that the bird attacks come in waves with long intervals between. The reason for this does not seem clear as yet.
Oh, those are real, that's for sure. Look at them, so cute.
Did you hear anything on the radio?
It's all right. Come on.
If she's that traumatized, I'm really worried she will scream the moment the doors open and she sees the birds. That will agitate the birds and cause them to attack.
No. No.
Mitch? Can I bring the lovebirds, Mitch?
No,
They haven't harmed anyone.
I mean, you can just release them to join the birds. Melanie's mother ran away, so maybe now Melanie kind of treats Lydia as, I mean, considers this like a mother's love or something. How many do you think are fake and how many are real? And how many do you think is needed to actually shoot this scene? Like they're covering the entire ground. Or it could be CGI for the ones further back. Wait, what? That's it? No way, that's it. That's it. I was expecting more. Maybe a bit of explanation to why they're acting this way or something. I mean, to me, birds aren't scary. You know, like it can't be compared to a dog bite or a cat claw or a kick from a horse. And these are small birds that they're showing, so if you really want to hurt them, like a punch or a smack or a kick would, you know, really severely injure a bird enough to be fatal. So I'm not really afraid of the birds here. But the birds would be a lot scarier if they were acting this way because of some kind of disease, like a rabid dog. When a rabid dog bites you, he can transfer that rabidness to you. So if the birds have this disease and them attacking you or hurting you could transfer the disease to you, now that makes them a whole lot more, like 10 times more dangerous. But if they're just attacking because they're just attacking, not because of illness or disease or parasites or viruses, then they're not that scary. And as you can see here, birds, snakes, and fish are not mammals, so they can't get rabies and they can't give it to you. But any other mammals can get rabies, including people. Question: can birds kill people? Yes, like we see an answer here. Cassowary is a type of bird, and they are known to have killed a few people. There are also others like African crowned eagle. Apparently one attacked a 7-year-old boy, but the kid survived. But a human skull was discovered in the bird's nest. Ostriches, they can deliver a lethal kick. Yes, I do agree, if a bird is big enough, such as eagles and things bigger than eagles like ostriches and such, yes, then we kind of do have to fear them. They are a threat, but most of them just attack based on self-defense. And in this movie, most of them are just small birds, which I feel won't deal any fatal damage. That's why I wasn't really, afraid or too concerned. The study of birds is called ornithology, and bird phobia, or a fear of birds, is ornithophobia. I'm sure that Melanie has ornithophobia after her encounter with the birds. I still feel that the actions of the characters in this movie is just ridiculous, because if birds are attacking, you don't try to run out in the open. Like, stay indoors. And if you hear birds behind a door in a room, you don't open the door. It's as simple as that. Don't invite trouble upon yourselves. Earlier during the intro, I was going to share about a real-life inspiration which Alfred Hitchcock had. So what was this real-life event that happened? Alright, here it is. The Birds was partly inspired by the true events of a mass bird attack on the seaside town of Capitola in California back in 1961. When Capitola residents awoke to a scene that seemed straight out of a horror movie. Hordes of seabirds were dive-bombing their homes, crashing into cars, and spewing half-digested anchovies in the lawns. Oh. Hitchcock heard about this event and he used it as research material for this film. In this case, there was an explanation. The real cause of the birds' behavior was toxic algae, but that was not known back in the 1960s. In this real-life event that happened, the birds caused damage, but I doubt they killed anyone. Here's some interesting trivia. Apparently a prank was played on the audiences in the UK premiere in Leicester Square, London. When the audience left the premiere, they were greeted by the sound of screeching and flapping birds from loudspeakers hidden in the trees to scare them further. Ah, that's cruel. 3,200 birds were trained for the movie. The ravens were the cleverest, no surprise there. and the seagulls were the most vicious. Okay. One of the endings we could have seen in the movie was that they would have showed the Golden Gate Bridge completely covered by birds. If they had tried to do that, I think they would have needed to use CGI. I don't think 3,200 birds would have covered the entire Golden Gate Bridge. The seagulls were fed a mixture of wheat and whiskey. It was the only way to get them to stand around so much, so that's the secret behind the scene. They fed them some whiskey, that's why they were just so obedient and standing there for the shot. Oh, this is nice. An avian hospital was built on the set. Now, we know that they trained a lot of live birds for this movie. Most of these were wild-caught crows, ravens, seagulls, and sparrows. They built an aviary on the set for birds that had been hurt or injured. They also made a large net draped over the living room set to keep the birds from flying throughout the rest of the studio. So they did try to keep the birds and the actors as safe as they could. One raven really did not like Rod Taylor. Rod Taylor, who was Mitch Brenner's actor, had a particular bird, raven, who really hated him. The raven's name was Archie. He always went out of his way to attack Rod, even when the cameras weren't rolling. Every morning, if we were on a set together, he'd come over and bite me. Well, I think Rod Taylor must have done something to made Archie angry, because most ravens, ravens are pretty smart birds, so they remember grudges and they take revenge. And I have seen on more than one occasion in real life where I'm driving my car, there's a motorcycle in front of me, and then a raven just, it could be a crow, could be a raven, it just swoops out of the tree and tries to, like, you know, I don't know what it was trying to do, but it would just swoop out of the tree and like try to grab the motorist's helmet or something, and then the person would be like, what the heck, there's a crow attacking me. And I was like, whoa, this actually happens. Clearly you've done something to upset the crow. And on one occasion, I actually saw a crow. He got hit by a car. The car tried to hit the brakes, but he still was moving pretty fast. The crow just swooped right in front of the car. I heard the bang, and then at the time, I was in my friend's car. I was sitting in the back seat, and we were stopped at the side of the road because my other friend was going into a shop to get some food or something. And so I got out of the car, I ran to the middle of the road, I picked the crow up. The crow was so disoriented. I picked the crow up and then I put it at the side of the road, and the moment I put him down, all his friends, the other crows, because there were many crows there, they just came around and huddled around him. I hope they didn't end up eating him, but the crow was fine. His eyes were just like half open, like he was dizzy, and his wings were splayed. I wasn't a veterinarian, and I'm still not a veterinarian, so I don't know if he had any broken bones, but he seemed pretty alright, just dazed. So I just left him there with his friends, and then we had to leave because, my friend had to go. So I just got in the car and we left. Hopefully the crow is doing fine now. That was years ago actually. But yeah, I helped the crow from the middle of the road. And there was one more, much more recent one. I think it just happened last year. I also did a Facebook post about it actually. There was a crow which I couldn't save. I don't know what was wrong with the crow. It was same thing, a crow lying in the middle of the road, and it didn't seem to be able to fly. I don't know if it's a crow that's still learning how to fly, because it seemed a bit small and there was a second crow near it that keeps trying to nudge it, like telling it to fly or something. And then maybe it's a baby crow, so the crow's just sitting there in the middle of the road and cars just driving over it. And I was like, oh man, I gotta help that crow, but I couldn't find a place to stop, so I had to drive a bit further until I found a place. I stopped, I quickly ran back, but unfortunately when I got close, like all I had to do was cross the road to get to the crow. There was a car, I remember it was a green colored car, and all the cars so far have gone over it, but this green colored car didn't give a damn. The wheels ran over the crow. I heard a loud pop, probably the sound of the beak shattering or something, but I heard a huge pop sound, like a balloon popping. Or could be its organs, I don't know, but it was terrible. So the car just ran over it without giving a damn. I heard a huge pop, and then I saw that, well, whatever was left of the crow on the roadside. And the second crow that was with that crow, of course, it dodged the car. It could fly. It flew away, and then it landed on nearby like stop sign, and then just stared at its partner's, or could be its child's, dead body. And I was like, if I had just stopped the car earlier, or if I just ran a bit faster, I could have saved the crow. Unfortunately, I didn't. So yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't save the crow in time. I don't know if the green car driver did it on purpose, but I feel like anyone could have easily avoided the crow, but he or she didn't give a damn. Well, sharing about that kind of dampened my mood a little bit. Well, here's the last trivia that I wanted to share. It is regarding the attic scene. It took an entire week to shoot, and it was too much for Tippi Hedren. It's a brutal scene that's hard to watch and was a nightmare to film. Well, I can imagine since it took a full week. Hitchcock spends much of it ordering his crewmen to hurl live galls at Hedren from behind the camera because he thought this would intensify her performance. At regular intervals, they will pause the shooting so the makeup team can apply some new injuries, but Hedren also received some real injuries. A bird ripped a hole into her lower eyelid. Like, her lower eyelid. Oh god, that must have hurt like hell. The injury provoked a full-blown nervous breakdown, and production was forced to shut down for a week to allow her to recover. Yeah man, injuries to the eyes are serious man, it's no joking matter. Because you only have two eyes, and losing one would be, absolutely terrible. The next movie reaction coming up will be Rosemary's Baby. Now I'm quite nervous about this one because I do not like horror movies and jump scares, so we'll see how I react to it. So stay tuned and I will see you in the next video. Peace.